In this video, we'll demonstrate the essential steps an event director must take to organize an AAU licensed event and integrate it with the AAU rankings for girls, all within the Exposure Events platform. Here you can see an example page of the rankings. You can see we can filter by grade, by conference, by region, and by state. Points are also assigned to teams depending how they end up doing in each event. If I click on a team, I can see their rank, their overall, their conference, region, state. I can also see the events they played in and the games and how many points they earned in those events. Becoming a part of these rankings comes with certain requirements and presents several advantages. The first advantage is events will be featured on the official AAU basketball app and girls app, available on both the App Store and Play Store. Second, event registration is mandatory through the Exposure Events platform. Exposure offers two options, the event store and single participant registration. Also, coach accounts are required and essential for effective team tracking across multiple events. Coaches can either sign up through Exposure from the sign up button on the top right and hit register for team coaches, or they can create a coach accounts when they register for an event. Last, all rosters encompassing both coaches and players must have valid AAU memberships associated with their respective teams within the Exposure Events system. To take part in the AAU girls rankings, you must follow certain steps to make sure your event is set up correctly. First and foremost, it's essential to acquire an AAU license for an event. You can easily obtain one by visiting the AAU membership page. After choosing the relevant club membership, you will receive an email containing all necessary additional information. The second thing to do is to register for an event director account on Exposure, where you can add and maintain events for registration and scheduling. If you already have an account, you can proceed to the next step. After logging into Exposure, the next step is to add events. You need to add an organization and season before entering event details, so be sure to follow all necessary steps. Enter the AAU license number you obtained from AAU for the event under the Event Details, Description section, Certifications, and select an AAU licensed. Once you do this, you can hit Save. After entering a valid AAU license for the event, the following message will appear to accept the event into the rankings. If declined is used, the events could still be ran through Exposure without being part of the ranking systems. With this acceptance, the following settings will be changed for the event. The AAU license number will be read-only, and it can't be changed. And we'll go ahead and look at that. Account registration will be enabled for the event and can't be changed, and a message will appear showing the event is part of the rankings. Registration is mandatory through Exposure to ensure a smooth integration with rankings. To learn how to complete this process, please refer to the registration setup article in the description of this video or in the Exposure dashboard. Enabling the registration process empowers coaches by allowing them to choose their AAU season division while registering their teams, ensuring a smooth and convenient experience for them. Here we have a registration form that's part of the rankings. If we scroll down here, we'll see an AAU girls basketball ranking season, and we can select the division that this team will be a part of. If an event is designed to accommodate competitions for different divisions, such as 4th grade D1 or 4th grade D2, it is crucial to assign the appropriate ranking rules for each participating division. This can be accomplished by following these steps. You will find relevant options under the division settings. Here we have 3rd grade girls. If I hit the settings here, you will see a section at the bottom called AAU Girls Basketball, and you can select the appropriate division, season division for this event division, and apply the appropriate rules for this division. If your division includes various competition levels such as D1, D2, D3, and you will need to determine the appropriate rankings for your bracket instead, you have the option to configure this within the bracket details instead of doing it for the entire division. Here we have the 7th grade division that has 2 brackets. If I click into the bracket details of this D1 championship, I have an AAU girls basketball section. I can apply the appropriate rule to just this bracket. Additional columns and fields will become visible to facilitate AAU specific functions and presentations. These can be reviewed in detail in the AAU rosters article listed in the video description and support portal. It's essential to ensure that each roster entry includes a valid AAU membership to gain approval for participation in the rankings. An AAU representative will be monitoring this this to make sure that the event is in compliance before it starts. Here you can see some teams listed and some teams that had some completed rosters. If we hover over the highlighted AAU logo, we can see that rosters were verified. If we see the opaque one, we see it's unverified. If we do see something that's spinning, that means that the rosters are being verified behind the scenes. And if we see just a dash here, that means that there's been no active players or coaches on that roster yet. Within Event Director and Coach accounts, an AAU lookup button becomes available as soon as the event is AAU licensed in exposure. This convenient feature empowers users to input a club code and membership ID, making it effortless to find coaches and athletes for streamlined team registration. In addition to the AAU lookup button, you have the option to manually add coaches or players one by one. For added convenience and AAU membership verification, simply input the membership number along with another relevant piece of information. If you're dealing with existing coaches and players, simply provide the membership number along with specific criteria that matches the existing records. Import files with membership numbers will be processed behind the scenes and should complete in a few minutes. To make these AAU fields mandatory for teams, coaches, and players for registration, you can enable them by navigating to the Event Settings page. Click on the registration section and editing the edit team fields, edit coach fields, and edit player fields by making sure they are required. Please bear in mind that event registration for a team won't be possible if the existing coaches or players on the exposure roster haven't acquired an AAU membership ID yet, and these settings have been switched to required. Event directors will have access to an AAU roster report, providing comprehensive team roster details, including AAU membership numbers. This report can be generated from the event report section, or for individual team reports, access through the team report section. If you have any additional questions or require further assistance, we encourage you to refer to the description section of this video, where you'll find contact information for both exposure and AAU. Please don't hesitate to reach out should you need any additional information or support.